Last time on Behind the Gate. All eyes turn to the MX2 Championship, with Jorge Prado just needing to finish 4th or better in race 1 to clinch his 2nd successive title. The Spaniard duly delivered, with yet another dominant race win sparking some fantastic scenes at the finish line. Elsewhere, Tom Vial finished 2nd in both races to secure his maiden GP victory, while TKO got the points needed to guarantee 2nd place at the end of the season. In MXGP, there was a dramatic finale, as this move on Paul Jonas on the last lap of race 2 saw Glenn Coldenhoff secure a 2nd consecutive GP win, just ahead of newly crowned champion Tim Geiser. There was a horror moment for Romain Febvre though. The Frenchman was racing hard before this incident saw him break his femur, bringing a premature end to his season. Roll on 2 weeks and we're now here in Afyon for the 2nd successive year. A picturesque spot a few hundred kilometres west of Afyon, the perfect place to get a real taste of Turkish culture. With the titles done and dusted, the pressure is off for most of the riders. But Jeremy Seewer is on the cusp of taking 2nd in the MXGP standings, while Jago Hirt and Vial are vying for 3rd in MX2. Let's see how they get on at the penultimate event of the season, the MXGP of Turkey.
On board with Tim Geiser down a relatively short start straight, but into a very wide sweeping left-hand turn. Past the foxhole shot immediately, and then we hit pit straight, past pit lane into turn 2. Of course, there is a bank turn to the outside. Exit the turn over a small double. Turn 3 sees a single to the inside, all this berm to the outside. Another small double here leads into turn 4. Easy on the gas. The outside line is pretty wide. The inside line seems to work best in race conditions, but anything can change. Over this triple, and then we can go single-double or double-single into this next 90-degree left. Small rise on the exit takes us to the Monster Energy tabletop jump here. And then we land, and as you can see, it's going to get very rutted through this next part of the racetrack. Exit the turn over the city jump, and then we have a quick right-left kink, tightening up here in this left-hand turn. The second of the Monster Energy jumps here, landing on the brakes, choice of lines tight to the inside, rail the outside, and on the exit we have a double single. Last year riders were able to go outside and triple the way through there. Through this next left, again bank to the outside, fans will be out on the right-hand side through this wave section, and then braking around about now to make this 90-degree left. Small single here, and then into the right-hand turn. Another little crest, landing, and as soon as you land, you will be in a load of deep ruts. On the gas, over the iPhone jump, And as we land, we have this single here just to upset the balance of the bike, another single to the inside, then this tabletop. Then we head towards the final turn, another couple of single rollers to the inside, flat to the outside, but this is the Monster Energy finish line jump here. And as we come into land, we have a final right-left that takes us back onto the start straight here at Affion.
Yeah, I'm here in Turkey and also in China. I'll be there for MX2 wildcard, and I have no expectation, just have fun and enjoy it and make experience for next year. Yeah, I'm quite happy about my season. For sure, if I get a title, was better, but yeah, I pushed a lot and then I did what I can, all the races. I did some bad races during the year, so third is okay. And during the winter, for sure, I have to work on my starts a lot because this year was so bad. Yeah, I did also wildcard in MX2, like wildcard, and was so nice. It was my first GP ever, and I did also 7th overall or 6th, I don't remember, but it was good, it was nice. It was a tough weekend, but it was good.
Yeah, I'm so happy about my year. I won the Junior World Championship and then the European Championship. I'm so happy, like almost a perfect year. The European title was for sure more difficult because you have to be constant in all the race. There are a lot of races, so you don't have to do so much mistake, and that was hard for sure. That was my last year in the school, so yeah, now I finish. I will just do motocross and training, but yeah, it was not so easy because you don't have so much time for the training and school, so I decided to stop the school. My plans for next year is to race in the European Championship 250 and maybe some race of MX2 World Championship.
Yes, I'm very happy about Mattia and Alberto, of course. They did an amazing season. Mattia won the European Championship and the Junior World Championship, so Mattia and Alberto, he did great all the season. He was many times on the podium, he won 5 motos. He got the place for the Motocross of the Nation with Team Italy, and of course we are very proud of this, and we are very happy to go with Team there. The season is very long and many things can happen. Of course you need also a bit of luck, but everything went good, so we are very happy. Well, I'm kind of manager that I like pretty much to stay involved. I'm involved in everything, starting from the organization to the race and the training with the riders, mechanics, technical, everything. I like to be involved in everything, and me and my father, we are 100% in the team with the rider every day, and it's a big family.
Gate drop for MX2 Race 1. Guess who it was that grabbed the foxhole shot? Jorge Prado. For just the 21st time this year. He was closely followed on the opening lap by Maxime Renault and Jago Geerts. Tom Vial was 4th. Adam Sterry was 5th briefly, but Matthijs Boerme found his way around the outside on his Honda. Kevin Valandren fell, whilst in 7th position, picked himself up in 9th. Maxime Renault then fell from 2nd whilst trying to keep Prado in his sights, and he was overtaken by a couple of riders. He re-emerged in 5th place. Wasn't long though before he found his way back past Boerme and into 4th. Adam Sterry was doing a good job of keeping his young teammate at bay, Rowan van der Moosdijk, wildcarding this weekend, but it wasn't long before he was through into 6th. But as quick as he'd gone through, he fell just a couple of corners later, down to 8th, and he would have to do it all again. Maxime Renault was riding like a man possessed. Found his way back past Tom Vial, moved himself into 3rd, and then went after the Yamaha of Jago Geerts. Eventually, that move stuck on Vial, but put Renault into 3rd. the next rider in the line of sight. Fourth Warame was the 28 of Vial as Thomas Olsen went out. A virus ruling him out of race 1 and race 2. Calvin Valandren back on the charge. He also found his way past Tom Vial. And later on in the race, Warame. The battle for second was hotting up between the two Yamahas, but guess what? Renault fell again, handing the advantage to Jargo Keerts, who hung on there until the checkered flag. All kinds of battles going on down in the later stages of the race, but Warame and the two Kawasaki's of Van der Moosdijk and Adam Sterry also found their way past Tom Vial. Vial would eventually come home in 8th on his KTM. Van der Moosdijk managed to get his way into 5th with a late pass on Warame, but it was Jorge Prado who was simply mercurial with race win number 28 in race 1. Jorge Prado once again fastest to the Foxhole shot line for the 22nd time this year. Just behind him, the Yamaha of Jargo Keerts briefly, but it was Tom Vial who came through in second at the end of the opening lap. Keerts was third, Renault fourth, but not for long. Rowan van der Moosdijk working his magic on the French rider. Renault then tried to retaliate, ran off track, lost a couple of positions in the process. As Keerts started to find his way working backwards from third. Eventually, he found himself in 5th place as Van der Moosdijk went through. Alberto Ferrato, riding as a wild card this weekend for Maddie Racing Husqvarna, scythed his way up the inside of Zach Pichon. That was for 9th, who would eventually come home in 8th place. Renault up the inside of Jargo Keerts. And it wasn't long before Valandren was also on the prowl. The three riders in an intense battle for 6th place. Valandren eventually found his way around the outside of the Yamaha. And that put him up into 6th. As Keerts did his best to hang on for as many points as possible. One or two moments for Maxime Renault in the latter stages of the race. Whilst further down the field, number 35, Mitchell Harrison, found his way past Pichon to move into 12th, but it was short-lived. The Bud Racing Kawasaki rider went out 4 laps later and would not pick up points in race 2. Calvin Valandren ran off track, handing the advantage back to Jargo Keerts. Keerts then back into 5th place. Valandren could only manage 6th by the time the checkered flag fell. One or two more scares for Maxime Renault, who rode his luck on more than one occasion. He managed to survive in 4th though. Rowan van der Moosdijk was 3rd, Vial 2nd, Jorge Prado on his way to win number 29. And with it, the overall victory in his 30th Grand Prix win in MX2. Second overall, Jargo Keerts with a 2nd and a 5th. Rowan van der Moosdijk was 3rd on his wildcard appearance here this weekend with a 5th and a 3rd place finish. Of course, Jorge Prado is world champion. Olsen confirmed as 2nd, Jargo Keerts 3rd, but Vial now 10 points behind the Belgian as they head to China to fight over that 3rd place in the 2019 season. But that's your top 3 this weekend: Prado, Keerts and Van der Moosdijk.
season, we've asked the world's best riders how to be the best out of the gate. Here's a selection of their pearls of wisdom. Can you tell us the secret behind a perfect start?
It's proud of it. The secret to a perfect start is a good reaction time. Everybody practices starts a lot. I think it's repetition. You have a good technique and you keep working on it and working on it.
Sorry, I don't know. I don't do good starts. Can you tell me maybe because you ask other riders?
It's not easy to describe. I mean, everybody wants to get a whole shot and be up front, you know, especially in MXGP. It's been about centimeters, you know, to get the whole shot or not. Once, you know, the 15-second turns to 5, that your focus needs to be 100%, you know, on the movement of the gate.
Just to have the good reaction first, to have the perfect clutch slide, let's say, of the bike, and that the engine can stay on the good RPM all the time.
Just have the wheel just a little bit above the ground, not too much throttle at the beginning of the gate, but really get that weight to the back wheel outside the gate.
You need a really good concentration, good position, good feeling with the bike. First of all, to good balance have to be with your body.
Out of the gate to have the good grip, so to go backwards on the bike to find traction.
It's hard to describe. It's a lot of feeling and instinct involved because you have riders next to you. They can disturb you. He can cross your line or not. So it's just a lot is happening, and you need to be open for everything and still be in your own bubble, you know. And this is hard to reach, and that's why it's not easy, you know, to get whole shots.
Prado really does it perfect if you watch him. It's incredible how he starts.
The secret to get a very good start, of course, is practice. You know, the reaction is the key. A mix of things, like, you know, reaction and focus on the gate, position on the bike, position of yourself. The bike needs to be powerful, you know, to stay in front. But mostly it's a mix of a lot of things.
Starts are very important in motocross. For sure, it's one of my strongest points. I'm very happy with my starts, always on front, but it's not easy. You need to be very focused and do every single movement very precise. So it's tough to explain, but you have to have it inside you.
As the gate dropped, Ivo Monticelli was left stranded on his standing construct KTM after stalling his machine, but it was Paul's Jonas with his first foxhole shot of the year, and he managed to stay there by the time he reached turn 2. Glenn Koldenoff was briefly in second, but not for long. Jeffrey Hurlings, number 84, was past his fellow countryman and going after the number 41. Before the end of the first lap, though, Hurlings was in front. Jonas second, Koldenoff on the 259 was third. Geiser was fourth, but the birthday boy, who turned 23 today, went over the bars and down to 14th. He would have to work hard to get back through the field. Gauthier Paulin, with the GoPro here, was in 7th position, whilst his teammate Arno Tonas was getting caught in 6th place. Bogers found himself being passed there by Paulin, and then later on, Jeremy Van Horbeek. Geiser suddenly found second gear, and he was passing riders as if they were going backwards. His teammate, one of those. Hurling stumbled and threw away a 3-second advantage, but remounted just in time to deny Jonas a route through to the lead. Jonas was comfortable in second, but he was always under the watchful eye of Glenn Koldenoff, whilst Jeremy Seewer had a lonely ride in 4th. Geiser made this pass on Van Horebeke to move into 7th place. And on the final lap, he closed in on Onno Tones, who was also being caught, and in this corner got passed by Gauthier Paulin. The Frenchman's persistence paid off to take 5th. He wasn't able to hold off Geiser though. Geiser swung around the outside for 6th. Tones eventually came home in 7th. No change in the top 3. Koldenhoff 3rd, Jonas 2nd. Herlings though, your winner for the 2nd time this year. Not a bad way to make a statement when you return back from injury in only your 2nd Grand Prix. This time a much better start for Ivo Monticelli on the standing construct KTM. He was bar to bar with Jeremy Seewer as they went through the first corner, but Seewer held a nice tight line as he emerged with his 4th foxhole shot of the season on his Yamaha. Gauthier Paulin went into turn 2 in 5th place, just behind Geiser, Herlings, Koldenhoff and Seewer. But the opening lap was a shocker for Jeremy Seewer. Started losing positions very, very quickly. Koldenhoff took over at the front. Herlings was 2nd, Geiser was 3rd. But the two Dutchies tried to clear off. One moment here led to this one here. Seewer getting punted off of the track by Jonas and down to 16th place. Arminas Jasikonis briefly found his way up the inside of Jeremy Van Horebeke as he started to climb inside the top 10. And Geiser was all over the back of Jeffrey Herlings as they fought over 3rd. But then Geiser lost the front. He fell from 3rd place, handing that advantage to Ivo Monticelli. Geiser remounted, quickly found his way into 4th with a pass on his teammate Brian Bogus. He was not done yet. All eyes on the battle for the lead though. Herlings tried several times around the outside of Koldenhoff, but he was denied every single one of them. Of course, Jonas eventually made his way into 5th, and that's where he would stay on the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. Paulin also flexed his muscles as he went by the Honda of Bogus for 6th. Seewer was on a late charge. He eventually came home in 8th place, just a couple of positions behind Paulin and one behind Van Horebeke. Geiser decisive with his move on Monticelli to get himself back into 3rd. But Jeffrey Herlings on the final lap got close to Glenn Koldenhoff. He rode his luck though at the start of the lap, but one last push. He got side by side along the waves. He made his move with a handful of corners to go, and Jeffrey Herlings went on to make it a double win here in Turkey. Grand Prix win number 85 in the books for Jeffrey Herlings. Koldenhoff 2nd overall. Jonas on the podium for the 2nd Grand Prix in a row. The battle for 3rd though is what we're looking at in the championship, because Paulin now 43 points behind Jeremy Seewer in 2nd. Koldenhoff though just 11 points behind Paulin, and those two will be fighting over 3rd as we go into the final round in China in 1 week's time. But the top 3 here this weekend: Jeffrey Herlings, Glenn Koldenhoff, and of course Jonas.
Our second visit to Afyon has been nothing if not entertaining. Jeffrey Herlings rolled back a year with a stunning performance in MXGP to take a 1-1 thanks to a worldie of a pass on his compatriot Glenn Koldenhoff, while Jeremy Seewer moves ever closer to closing out a 2nd in the championship. Jorge Prado produced another masterclass in MX2, while wildcard Roan van der Moosdijk took his first podium before moving up to the class full-time next year. And with that, the sun sets on Europe for another year. We now pack our bags for the season finale, meaning a long trip east for our first ever visit to Shanghai for the inaugural MXGP of China. We'll see you there. Bye-bye.